Were you on the board?
Yeah, but I wasn't very knowledgeable what was going on.
I went over that line by line.
Wow. She ate that up. She loved that stuff.
Oh,
Okay, this is gonna work this time, you guys. I did a little practice.
Yeah, good for you. There's no question. I understand this is all from 2020 last time.
but did you go through it?
I did. I think it's working. I'm gonna copy it for later to make sure I've got it. Okay, so I took what Karen had in her draft. Online, looking at the RACID chart. Let me see if I can switch. Karen had already done with others, I assume. I didn't hear what you guys were talking about. And then those changes were made in red. And then I made a few other changes that are also in red to reflect what is actually the work that is actually being done by actual people, and a couple of things that were updated in the policy updates, just to kind of keep everything aligned. And then I had some questions around the areas highlighted in green. So it seems like historically the board was more active in the media presence and marketing and fundraising. So before I just like changed a bunch of letters around, I want to give you guys a chance to really look at that and decide if that's something you guys want to continue to do or if that's a shift. So those were the main areas where I was like, I don't even feel comfortable making a recommendation. I think we should talk about it.
Okay, excuse me, but why can't I find it? I looked at it at home.
I don't know, but you know what? The printed out version is right here and in your packet, if you'd like.
I'd rather have it, but we didn't.
And oh, and by the way, just to back up, of course, you know, RACID chart is a tool that's used in a lot of business settings. And
Have you ever seen it?
Yeah, I have. I was
Oh,
excited.
never have.
I love it because what it does, and usually the managers will whip it out as soon as 3 or more parties start arguing like territorially. And so, and so I actually see the value of it, just so that we talk a lot about like staying in lane and understanding whose responsibilities is whose and whatever. So this exists and it seems worth updating. And RACID is an acronym that stands for who is responsible, accountable, who needs consent, who needs to be informed, and who do you need to discuss decisions with. So there's always a little bit of question mark around the difference between responsible and accountable. You know, responsible would be like, ultimately, it is a responsibility of this board to do this, but Sarah is accountable for doing it. That's where I always have the strongest conversations about the difference between responsible and accountable. Consent is like, I need to ask permission for something. Informed means the person in that role wants to be told, but doesn't have a say necessarily. And then discussion would be like if a policy affected others. There's like a deeper connection to those parties, and you want to discuss it with them, get their feedback, and then make the decision that you inform others about. Yada yada. So. All that said, this is a very lengthy RACID chart. I've never quite seen one with this level of detail in some areas and then so vague in other areas. So, did any of you get a chance to look at it besides Karen before now?
Remind me what obviously I know ICP and what's the BIC and OM?
Okay, so the BIC, actually that's a good point. I meant to change that. Right now it stands for behavior intervention coach, which is interesting that that's what it was before, but it
Well,
also,
we had one.
okay. I thought we made up that term. So behavior intervention coach, but I also lumped counselor in there because we are kind of functioning as a tight team and there's very little kind of distinction between individuals on the behavior team. So maybe, I don't know what else to call it, but that's what that is.
Right. OM
Office manager,
and then NCT.
NCT and IA, that is a non-classroom teacher or instructional assistant.
I remember that, you know.
And I was looking through and I, non-classroom teacher, an example would be, our specialists. Patrizia, she's a teacher, but she's a non-classroom teacher. She doesn't have her own class. Same with gender. So they have a perspective that's valuable. Same with IAs. They might have a class, but they don't have necessarily the same level of say, but their perspective is valuable. So we want to include them where it makes sense.
FM family.
Facilities. And then DIS is district. And community. I think it might not be facilities.
Let's see what.
Where it's somewhere. I looked it up somewhere.
Revised mission and facilities.
Because I think later they are called out. Look on our website because I think the current one has key.
Well, here's under here, they have a separate category for facilities and IT.
Yeah, that's what I was remembering. So let me see. I think the one that's live.
Could be financial manager.
I think it is financial manager. Yes. I was just saying, look at what they do. Let me see if we can figure it out. So there's not a super rush on this. You don't have to hash it through tonight, but we could if it felt straightforward enough.
There's definitely things that have evolved. There's definitely things we learned in our training, and there's definitely things that have changed because of the policy packet. Is that all true?
Yeah. I think one was an example. I was thinking of the there was something related to talking to these procedural ones. They don't exist anymore, the procedure numbers. There was something related to like getting family feedback or getting staff feedback or something like that, and it was very clearly a board responsibility. And since we've been talking so much about that, I shifted it to the ED, so stuff like that. Anything that's strike through, like crossed out, that was a change as well. You guys feel like you want to have a little more time to sit with this before we go through? We're also missing a couple people that might want to participate in the conversation.
I don't know if there's an easy way to.
No, I mean, I just went line by line and like tried to imagine scenario. Like it took me some time.
Correct. That's how we did it. At that point, we had head teachers, and so that's what we're trying to get rid of. Because we no longer had it, so we smooshed.
That's right.
The head teacher responsibility is different.
And then there was moments where we didn't have an ED, so all the ED ones.
We should have several versions.
Yeah,
The
that's
great glass.
Purple
charts.
that column's pretty full.
So maybe if we could talk about the areas that I was confused about.
Sure.
To start there, maybe it's a little bit easier to manage.
Does that work for you, Jamie, Jessica? We could do away
Yes.
with same thing, but
So the first category is related to like media spokespersoning and advertising. Right now, I'm basically doing all of that. And I don't have to do all of that. It is just what is currently happening.
We like it.
I know, which is fine. I mean, and the website just kind of makes sense because my history as a web designer, and it's just simpler for me to just do it. And you know, as things have come up for board members, we've adjusted the content.
That was on there was something on that needed to be corrected.
Could be anything.
Came on an audit
Oh, was it
outlet.
the minutes? Probably a variety of things. But yeah, and what my experience has been that if somebody on the board or even the community sees something that's weird or wrong, they just let me know and I fix it. But or I tell them, no way, you're not gonna, you're wrong. And the other piece was around media. I think that actually in the new policies, I believe the ED is the focal point for all media related interface. So like if somebody wanted an interview or if there was like a press release that is supposed to go to the ED, again, that doesn't have to be that way. It's just how it's written. And I think the other areas down here in, what is this category called? Financial. So soliciting donations from individuals, direct fund requests from business and organization, coordinating fundraising, hey Patrick, send receipts and thank you notes to donors. So again, it seems like that is something that the board previously had responsibility for doing. We're doing that kind of in collaboration with the PTO right now. Do any of you have strong feelings about doing that?
it's important that things are getting done. So at that basic level there, it might be easy, but I can anyway.
I mean, as we're talking about adding to our board too, if these are areas of strength, people who are applying for the board, you know, we can draw from our community. These are also kind of easier things for me to decentralize.
Well, based on the budget, the board needs to figure out how to fundraise to get more thank you note demands from at least. So anyway. Just bouncing.
I feel like we all have a concern and all prioritize financial well-being over at Muddy Creek. And so anybody who could fundraise more or solicit donations, I'm very new here and I have really never created fundraising before. So that's a new thing for me in the past year with Muddy Creek. And I'm glad I did it with the auction. I'm glad I've gotten grant money to restart the music program, but I would love more of us to do that because, yeah, we're all worried about that, right? And a lot of you guys have been here for a lot longer and know businesses and individuals to ask. Also, I know a lot of businesses, like corporate businesses, have matching funds for donations. And if we could really go for that this year, it'd be really wonderful. And I think the PTO is doing great this year. So thank you, PTO.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the values of this kind of chart is so that, you know, it's really clear who is responsible for doing it. And instead of all, I mean, I agree with you 1,000%, Jessica. And I am doing some of it. I think everybody does agree that it needs to be done, but at the end of the day, like somebody's got to be responsible for rolling it out, and somebody's got to be doing the work. And so I think this is a great opportunity to say, okay, who is going to do that? What role is going to be responsible for that, so that it gets done? Otherwise, we just end up talking endlessly, and we don't get it done.
So, and we're talking solicit donations from individuals, or well, just solicit donations.
That whole green area.
I like green. So one thing I'm wondering, like the center seats and thank you notes to donors, super important, especially for recurring stuff. Is that something we could streamline by like, we just get a big pile of thank you cards, we all sign them, like at the board meeting, and then can Dana like write out a note and mail it out to the donors?
I mean, we are already doing that part, just
Like-
without the signatures.
It's like, I
But
love
that'd be
making
great.
it look personable. And if we can streamline, like we all sign 20 cards.
Yes,
At a
Put a
board
picture
meeting?
in there and
Yeah.
you got it. That's absolutely something we could do.
Because
Because what we
then,
do is if it exceeds $200, we just automatically send a receipt and a thank you. And if it is below that, we sometimes will ask if they want it. But
yeah, that can be a really good personable touch. I remember, and I don't know if I'm touching on a sore subject, but before the school year started, there was talk of having Patrizia helping with like some grant writing, or there was talk of like 2 separate positions potentially help with grant writing and like some of those kind of things. Is there any of that going on within the staff?
it is only Evangeline doing it right now. And a little bit myself and a little bit Jessica. And then we have a lot of passionate parents who have offered to contribute, just hasn't materialized. Lena has done, I think she submitted like 15 or 20 grant applications so far. It's a long wait sometimes,
Yeah.
and we're not going to get every single one. So she's, and then of course the BLM one is going in next month, and that's a biggie. And there's kind of a rolling cycle on some of these things. Jessica's working on some music ones, I think. So that's where we're at on grants.
I've heard the Department of Ag has that grant that one of the schools are.
Lena said something was opening for garden in 2 weeks, so maybe that's what she's. Yeah. But and I was talking to Jessica in the hallway the other day, and it's easier for me to keep my mind straight when I have like a focal point for the grants, and so that's Lena. She doesn't have to do every single one, and she doesn't know about every single grant opportunity. So anytime anybody says the word grant to me, I just say, please connect with Evangeline. And so she knows that you are already applying for one, or that she's already applied, just so that it's not everybody again, back to the RACID chart, it's not everybody doing it, and it's not nobody doing it.
So any information you would feed to her.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yep, and I get a lot of great ideas from the community. They'll see something and they'll shoot it over, and she has master spreadsheet of the gods, and then there's things that she stays away from too, because she knows that other people are working on it.
I know, to Jessica's point, Julie Jacobs was showing me she's got access to a website on the whole matching funds thing that employers do with the matching funds.
Yep, she's working on that.
So if we can, get her, like if she's able to add some communication, that'd be great.
So I'm hearing this group saying that they do not want to be in charge of fundraising for the school. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think it's
Us,
Mhm.
I'd vote no. I just don't, I think it's weird that a board is responsible. That teachers have thrown it to our face and said that we weren't doing our job. Right? Different.
No judgment. I'm just asking the question because then
Well, I don't think it's one where like, I feel like if someone's in charge of it, other people lose sight of it. I think it's something like it needs to be a focus constantly for everyone.
Mhm.
And I know like when my in-laws were like, oh yeah, end of year, like we need to go ahead and send our donations. I was like, I know somewhere.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much they gave, but they said they donated. So I think it's one where I don't want us to be in charge of it, not because I don't want us to do it, but I don't want other people to not do it.
So what we can do, here's how we would use this chart to represent that. So if, to solicit donations from individuals. So that would mean that the ED is responsible and probably accountable. And then we say the board is, what would you say is the right, informed,
That's what I would say.
discuss.
Is there a participant option?
Well, the accountable, I don't know, maybe responsible is the right word because everybody is responsible for it. Everybody needs to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the placid account.
A what?
Placid.
So responsible and informed. There's always already something about the consent later or earlier for the grants. So you guys are responsible for approving my grant. My notion to apply for a grant over 25. And that's just moving policies. Direct fund requests from businesses and organizations. Does it feel like the same thing?
I do, but on this one.
And then
There's-
fourth,
I'm confused because there's not a category for PTO, and that's one of PTO's 3 power points is fundraising, correct?
yes, I was actually, you and I had the same thought at the same moment. I think that would fall under community. Though we can also create a column for PTO.
I want to hit the pause button real quick. We have community members starting to go and come in. One's in the bathroom right now, but I don't know.
It's public. This is public.
Okay.
Thank you. So if we were to do an extra,
It's not interesting.
well, I'll put it under community for now, and then I'll think about if we want to actually separate it as PTO necessarily, but they would also be responsible and responsible. What did I say? This is to coordinate fundraising. Let's do it again. Discuss. Responsible and
Hello.
discuss.
Hey,
How's it going?
welcome.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
So we're in the work session portion, and soon we will be in public forum portion.
Oh, should I leave or?
No,
No,
no.
we're
You can.
I won't
We just-
spy.
We just haven't opened it up for public comment yet, so we'll.
I'm just here to hang out anyway.
Yeah, you're in good company. And then sending receipts to donors could also be responsible and accountable for PTO. And arming Julie Jacobs with just about everything she could ever possibly want in order to do that well.
I mean, would that be a PTO thing? I mean, is that something that can be on like Dana's plate to do? Is it? I mean, you know what her workload looks like. Is that?
If a parent offers to write words on an envelope and send it to somebody, I'm
Yeah.
gonna say yes. That is a simple task that I don't mind.
That's fair. I just want to make sure those are if those are going out reliably and promptly, if possible.
And so then that makes me responsible for that, right? So I have to make sure I choose my delegates correctly so that it does actually get done. And if somebody doesn't get one, then it's really me who gets the stink eye. Does that feel like it reflects more accurately what we want to be doing moving forward?
I think so.
Ultimately, I'd like to see a large capital like fundraising thing come from somehow, you know.
Big fat shit.
that would probably be more board related than.
Yeah. No, I think like the work you're doing with the exchange program is a great example of how you can take your own personal passion project and also bring
Bring it to money.
bring it
Yeah.
some money and enrich our community. Okay, so that I'm going to unhighlight green if we feel like that is good. And of course, all of these can be reopened later if anybody feels like it's not working for them or it isn't accurate anymore. And so then the other pieces were around marketing and media. And I think before you got here, Patrick, generally speaking, all of this is being done by me. And part of it in the new policies designates the executive director as the media spokesperson. And so none of the board should really be speaking to the press unless it's like through a reason that I've decided is the right reason, or we feel collectively decided is the right reason. But this is one of the things we put in there to, and it was already in the policies packages, but I thought it was really good timing with the situation that came up last year where we had multiple people talking to the media. And so the question to the board is, do you want to like codify that delegation to me here, or do you want to continue to have a more active role in media and marketing? It's okay for me to do it. I just want to make sure that none of you are dying to do it.
It seems like we should have one voice knowing what's going on in the school, and that should, in my opinion, probably be you. But Jessica, Jamie, you have thoughts on this?
I would change us to be, informed.
Informed.
I
and
think
given,
definitely, because we're not here day in and day out. And that's usually, anytime you'd have contact with the media, it would be something going on with kids or activities, and it could even be the office manager with her, I guess you have that. You have ours on your.
And I feel like I've really tried to include you guys in that, at least at the informed level, but often I'll just share ideas that I'm thinking about with one or the other of you guys and kind of get the feedback.
Yeah, it would be cool to see your ideas for your graphics and stuff before they go out, but I think, yeah, nobody wants to be the media spokesperson here.
Agreed.
Patrick, do you have an official vote? I mean, an unofficial vote, really, we're not really voting.
Not really, but I don't want to do it.
Heard. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I do want you still to liaise with donors, please. And then I will make this AR. Is that like it reflects what we just talked about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, you say your husband helps you with the website,
No, I do the website.
but I don't know if that's.
I was a web designer before I was a teacher, so it's just
so
easier for me to do it.
It's easy for you.
That's the best way, because otherwise you're telling somebody what you want them to do, and
Yeah.
20 times longer than just doing it yourself.
Totally. And then Dana's empowered to help make changes too. Like if she needs to make a change, she can do that also. she's still kind of getting comfortable.
Right.
Just nervous about websites, but
I've messed them up before.
so have I. I think maybe the first month I was here, I was trying to make it prettier, and I deleted the entire Muddy Creek website and had 2 solid days of panic. So
It's easy to do.
that was too easy to do. Luckily, I did it in whilst attempting to make a backup of the website, and it was partially successful. All right. Well, thank you for answering my questions about that. Those were the most contentious areas. Question for the group. Would you rather take a little more time and read through this in detail and then talk about it? Or do you feel comfortable enough to say, this looks good, and we'll just keep it open as a living document? It doesn't have to be, it's not a procedure or a policy. It doesn't have to be voted in or on, but it's nice if we can all agree to the accuracy of the document, or at least kind of mostly, it's 90%.
Do we have an IT?
I am the IT. I know.
You need a different hat.
I do. Yeah, so it's mostly me, but then when it's like too much or too complicated or things I don't know how to do, then we have Harmon Grid, which is Brandon Harmon, who is a great contractor, and he comes in and fixes everything. He's going to set up our wonderful projectors, and yeah, he's great. He keeps us all in software updates and Chromebook dongles.
And an hourly.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable saying this is done because it's like any of these kind of documents, it's not in stone.
Yeah.
And if we see something that we could take off your plate and pass it to somebody else, that would be nice, but
Find something that isn't working, we adjust it. Does that sound reasonable to everybody?
How about you online?
Yes.
We pull this thing up and look at it every so often in my experience. Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's clarify
I
this.
just didn't really know. I'd never seen them before. Real well.
Yeah, when the roles get confused, the race of chart comes up.
And that's
So,
a reason to have it.
It is, and you know, like you said, your circumstances will dictate whether you need one update or another. If you don't have a head teacher, you don't need that role. If you are missing a key player, you might need to shift these around temporarily.
It's also a good to-do list in some ways.
Yeah, for sure. Like, what should we be doing?
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. We're just a moment late. Thanks for joining us. Let's transition into our regular meeting. Thanks for joining us. Hello.
Want to share the
Got
agenda?
everybody online there.
Patrick, are you 2 people now?
Apparently,
Cool.
Get twice as much done, right?
probably half.
Okay, I'm all right. Wait, there we go.
All right, let's call the meeting to order. 7:07. January 9th, 2025. Uh-oh, we got the wrong date on there.
Yeah, I already fixed it online. I printed
Well,
it.
That's never
Whoopsie.
happened before.
I also updated your roles. I realized I hadn't added Patrick as secretary and Jackie as vice president, so that's now better.
Awesome. All right, exciting. Let's move into public comments, and I'll read the statement. Public comment may include suggestions and objective criticism of operations or programs, but the board will not hear complaints concerning individual personnel. Board will hear comments, but will not engage in discourse with public in this meeting. All right, any public comments?
I continue to be without significant comment, but I'm still here and just watching another meeting. It's my second meeting now.
Hello.
Thanks for joining
So
us.
if you maybe need a board member in the future, I could be considered.
That makes you eligible. Would you like an application?
Sure.
All right. You have this, you know.
I do.
Okay.
I also added something to this that I thought might be interesting. It's a little hard to see for us because we've got the screen in front of our faces. But, you know, we've always had the Muddy Creek Charter School vision and mission on our agenda. And I thought it might be interesting to, I'm sure you all read in great detail the bylaws packet that I sent home with you last month. Committed it to memory and everything. But, yeah, I just thought I'd point out that there are, you know, another piece of our collective goal set is the mission and vision of the Indigo Community Partners. So there's Indigo Community Partners Board, which you are, and one of your projects is the school. Some people said they didn't know this existed, so here it is now in the thing.
I think everybody, when they join, they're as surprised as anybody. So we're kind of, they set up the school, they had kind of broader visions of it, and then the school, and there was some spinoff which we met recently. But anyway,
Interesting.
when it boils down to where we're at for the last 10 years,
You know where
is,
the-
you know,
Grange Hall is off on
Oh, yeah.
airport.
Yep. Yep.
That's it.
We get their mail sometimes, and they get ours.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. It's hilarious. And their chairs say Innville School. Their little folding chairs.
all right. Karen, are you ready with the treasurer's report?
Sort of. I haven't gotten December's numbers yet, but I did not read word to word of the audit. I can't imagine people wanting to read and write all that stuff. One part was 60 pages, and it's gobbledygook to me.
A lot of it's boilerplate stuff.
It
Yeah.
took a long time this year to get through that audit.
And,
Oh
but
my word.
under best practices, whoops. I just lost it. Where'd it go? There's 3 things. Okay, it's right there. It is the 7-page one. And it says of everything that we're doing, there's 3 things, not significant deficiencies.
Right.
And one is,
3 things are not significantly deficient.
They're
Right.
deficient, but not significant.
so they call them best practices. Specifically, the third-party bookkeeper processes everything. And we recommend the board continually monitor the financial activities. So, and I think we do a good job of that. And I ask, or I sometimes think they're stupid questions, but Tanya always says, well, at least you read my stuff. And the second one is they don't love QuickBooks. And we used QuickBooks before, and that's what Tanya uses, and we're not in any near future going to change it. So, I mean, a lot of businesses use it. And the third one is the SIA grant agreement. That's the one that has to be on our website as required by the Oregon Department of Education grant agreement.
It is. It's just buried.
Oh, is it?
I'll make it a little clearer. It's like in our forms and.
I didn't even
docs
go
and-
look.
Yeah, it's in the families area, but
Yeah,
I
they
can
must
make it
have
more-
put us. I should say.
unless maybe it needs to be updated, I'll look into that because I did it when I was supposed to do it, but I haven't touched it since
It
then,
might
so.
be the year on there.
Yeah, and I think we just updated it, so maybe they're looking at the old version and I need to do the version.
And then there were the questions. There's Tanya, the thing that I love about her is there's stuff that it's like, what is this new category that's called K-5 Oregon paid leave? And it's just this new thing that's required. And it takes there's no longer short-term disability. So this line item that says, takes place of that, and it's mandated by Oregon. So, and the bank fees seem high to me. They were like $400. And it's like, well, we have so much, but that's when we use the
DBD card.
She didn't say accepting credit. Do we?
Oh, like when we accept credit cards.
Yes.
Oh, credit
Uh,
card
Giving
transaction.
fundraiser.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
So-
just a percentage of our fundraising.
I mean,
That's
considering that like those are usually 2 to 3%, if it $400, if $400 is like
Math that out.
3%,
yeah.
that means we're bringing in a good amount of money.
Right.
I
That's
worry we're spending a lot of money in fees with the Divvy cards because it's a credit card and we use it for almost all of our expenses.
Correct.
And so like on the really big things like the curriculum buy, we've done the process of like because we don't really have a PO system. We have the divvies and
Does anybody use the PO anymore?
no, well not here, but the invoice. There's a way to do it invoice wise, and so on really big items do that because I don't want to spend that.
So, but she says it's for when we accept credit card payments for
That
events.
sounds like a lot of money coming in, so it's okay.
So yes, it is. And did anybody look at the comparison that she sent us?
Yeah.
It's kind of an eye opener, I thought.
I had more questions than understanding after that.
Well, the first one she sent me, it's like nothing happened. It's not there. And then she sent it. And when you look at FTE versus enrollment, obviously we know we're school B because there's 106
Let me
kids.
see if I can find that.
So, and if you compare us to the average, like office classified, we're a little low. Administrators were low. We're high on counseling behavior staff. No, what's B? No, we're very low on that. And classified staff, we're twice as high.
I think it depends to the enrollment. These positions are like based on scale too. So if you have like 100 kids, having one office manager makes total sense. If you have 200 kids, you really need 2 office managers. And so you kind of, and you can see it play out in her spreadsheet a little bit where the 400 student school has 4 times as many of almost everything.
Yeah, so the averaging doesn't make a lot of sense when the numbers are so, I mean, there's those from 71 up to 410 in terms of the different schools. And so the second one, I think, gave us a little bit more. This was income and cost per student. And again, we're school B. So we spend 11,865 per student, and the average is like 13,800.
We spend 11,000
Our income.
income.
Oh,
Okay,
I said, I'm sorry, it was income.
but the ADMW is about 11,000 per, right?
Fundraising, and this was 23-24, was very low. It was 255 per kid, where a school of 77 has 9,900.
Where are we at?
Huh?
Where are we at on that?
255.
Per student. There's a lot of low ones. We're kind of average in there. I mean, the average is 13, but you almost have to throw out that one.
Yeah.
You know, you almost have to throw out high and low and get an
I
average.
think, yeah, and I think that school is a very specialized school. So I wouldn't consider them a very traditional charter school. There is a specific group of families who would want that school and they may be more well-off or more willing to fund it.
What was our spending per student?
Our student
We don't have that.
income was like our
The first one
ADMW
was
11.
income per student, and I said spending, and I meant
Okay.
to say income. which was 11,800. The teacher salary is very interesting to me. We are the highest, our teachers are paid the highest of these schools.
Corvallis School District is one of the highest in the state.
Corvallis.
Yeah, Corvallis and PPS are, Portland Public Schools are the highest, I think. And they attribute it to cost of living in these areas.
They weren't that high when I was there.
I mean, teachers are historically underpaid, so even well-paid teachers are probably.
Well, it feels good because they were
They were
down,
low,
and we've
yeah.
got them the highest of all these schools. Classified cost per kid is 1,000, and that's a little higher than the average. Admin cost per kid is almost, well, not quite, is 1,600 per kid, and the average is 2,100. So she's still low.
And I think we include an admin, me and office manager.
Oh, do they?
And sometimes I see counselor included in that too. So I'm not positive how she calculated it, but I think in almost all of our spreadsheets, office manager and ED are in that.
Curriculum cost, we're one of the lower ones, $88 as opposed to the average of 180. And then facilities cost is, and that's one thing I think everybody kind of forgets. It's $1,100 per kid to just keep the facility. And that's, when you're doing budgeting, you almost have to start there.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have electricity and water and, garbage and stuff,
And we're lucky we got the well and the no rent. So that's a
Yeah.
huge deal.
well, we wouldn't exist if we hadn't paid rent.
We could-
We defer our rent into maintenance on an old building in some ways.
Yeah. So
But,
if,
yeah,
I mean, if I was doing it, I'd throw the high and the low out, and I think you'd give a little better. But it is interesting because she does work with Penn School. So, and I have not received the December thing. Kind of been late lately. Is
Yeah.
things?
I haven't gotten anything since September.
I can't do.
Same.
So in September, that was, I think, when she had health.
We had
issues, yeah,
October.
October.
we
You
thought
might
that.
have. I haven't seen October.
We didn't see October?
No.
No, nothing
You put-
forever.
She might have just sent it to you.
So that's a good note to take. I'll check with Tanya, make sure she sends it to the board email address.
I can forward up.
Yeah, but I
Send-
think she
yeah,
just
send the
does
book,
it
'cause
at
I
like,
hadn't seen that one.
yeah.
Yeah, Karen, it was hard to hear. What is your source that you're talking about? Where is this chart?
I can't hear her.
I think I can, she asked where you're getting the information from.
That information I just gave you
Yeah.
came from Tanya. She did comparison of the 10 schools that she works with.
Did she send this to all of us or just to you?
Everybody.
I thought we got it. I hadn't scoured
I
it
have-
yet. Did we?
I've been searching my email. I can't find anything like what you're talking about. So
Yeah.
Um,
Unless it's old, I haven't seen
It is a
that.
little.
It wasn't-
No,
It
she's,
was a few weeks
no,
ago.
excuse me, she sent it just to, see, she said team, and I thought that, so it's not.
Oh, she BCCs things too, so sometimes it's hard to tell.
Yeah, it is kind of sometimes figure out.
Comparisons. I'll forward it over.
Now that link, the one with the link doesn't work.
Right.
Did you get the other one?
Well, it worked for me. The link worked for me, but I don't
Oh,
know.
did you?
Yeah, I saw
I
it.
just went to Google.
Oh. Here, I'm just sending this to the board.
I'll
address right
send
now.
October.
yeah, maybe next time for presentations, if we could have it up on the screen or something, or if we could
I would have, I just,
stuff
I'm not
ahead of
plugged.
time
into
so
my-
we know what you're talking about, because it's very hard to just hear data and not have it in front of you or a way to know what you're
Yeah,
talking
you need that on a spreadsheet, don't you?
Yeah, I apologize. I didn't realize we were gonna look at it, so I didn't have it prepared on this computer. And I don't log in with my own self. I log in with a DIT account. So sorry. I would have liked to do that.
And here's the November one that Sarah got late. I'll forward that to you.
Thank you.
I think one of those was my fault. I think because I have to do a bunch of signatures to facilitate it. I think you do too, right? On the bank statements. And 1 month I was way behind, so I think that was the November one.
Yeah.
But I did the December one on time.
I'm real inconsistent checking them out. Like when,
So it's Karen's fault. That's
yeah,
okay.
well, when the OSU thing,
Oh yeah,
I didn't see it.
we got it. We got it all figured out.
I think I was in my.
All's well that ends well, Karen. That's what I always say.
Well, we're on
And you see the comparison to everybody?
well, we're on financial stuff. I know we're supposed to go to start the budget committee this month in January.
This is one of our or one of our items for tonight to talk about. I was hoping Jackie would be here because that I was going to try and save some time and just schedule it all together, but she's going to have to work with us.
All right, Karen, is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Sarah, are you ready with the executive director update?
You know I am. Here we are.
Go.
It's a short and sweet this month, folks. We've been a little busy. December was crazy with all the fun and goings on. Let's see. Can you guys see that out there? Okay, good. That's good.
Yep.
Great. So, some good news. Please consult the enrollment number. We have added a couple of kiddos to our roster. We actually added a third, but they were here for like a weekend left. So I guess it wasn't for them.
I guess not.
We're not for everyone. So that's
They came in
fine.
December, which is a hard month.
It like could be the best month or the worst month to check out what's going on. We also have our accurate attendance numbers now, and we've made a lot of adjustments to how we're handling some things. And if you'll please notice the 0 suspensions.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the buzzkill,
Listen,
but okay. So are these numbers? Is it just for December?
December. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like, how do we go to 0 when we had suspensions before that? But if this is just December, that makes
That's
sense.
December. Yeah. And
There's that many absences.
oh my gosh, everybody was sick.
Oh,
December was a very buggy time.
Because I know
Yeah.
This is only 3 weeks.
Plymouth had a stroke.
Everybody had strep,
Flu,
RSV,
strep, and RSV
the Ronas
just
tore
went
through.
Oh my gosh.
all this. I mean, half the staff were out. It was, yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of our families like live internationally or have family internationally, and several of them like left early too to just experience travel and their families. And we encourage all that kind of cool stuff happening. So it was sad they missed craft day or whatever, but you got to do what you got to do. And then the other thing that I wish Jackie was here to see, because you know how much she and I love the thermometer, is that the thermometer increased by
A lot.
several $1,000s in December.
Woohoo! Yay!
What made that go up so
I'll
high?
show you. Would you like? Oh, I can't see it on this one. Can I? Maybe I can. We had a variety of things. One large donation and several medium donations. I think it's on. I put it in the PTO drive. Let me see if I can share. I have this like log of everything fundraising, and I can share this instead. I originally made this just for myself because there's a disconnect between what I deposit and what I see on Tanya's reports, and it's not always the same. Like, I don't know if everything gets flagged as a fundraiser. And so this year I just started doing this myself for me, and then I ended up sharing it with the PTO. Julie wants totals, so she just added the totals. I am only interested in a gigantic total, so, but she's got the monthly. And then here's what December happened. I didn't include the names of the donations.
Oh,
but
wow. That's very
Some of
nice.
them,
Nice.
some of them came from some of your families, and I thank you.
What was
Those
the
trips are
bottle
great.
drop for December? Is that in
I
there?
just requested the check. It was 317
Okay,
For what?
bottle drop.
I dropped off 12 bags sometime in December.
And we got a very respectable $60 box tops check, which is
Alright.
the most I've seen since I've been here.
Okay.
Oh yes, don't mind if we do. And I think too, I was trying to figure out, Jessica, about the Giving Tuesday. What's it called? Is it Giving Tuesday?
Giving Tuesday, yeah.
I don't know. I don't have that included here. So I don't know if we could add that if you knew what it was.
Coupon should go well.
Well, I don't think we were the chaperone givers on that one. We'll just
Oh.
say I think it was a nothing, unfortunately.
Well, here's
So-
what I think though. I was telling somebody else. I think even just the like trigger of having a Giving Tuesday that went out, because these were a lot of checks. And I think it might have been something that at least got people thinking about doing it. So I wouldn't say it was nothing. I think it just maybe didn't come to the website.
I say 11 touch points.
What was the Papa's coupon book?
So Papa's has this like coupon. It's a flyer. It's not really a book. I don't know why we call it books. But it's just like, 9 or 12 coupons. And they gave us like 500 flyers. And they said, go sell them for $15 each. One of the coupons is like a free pizza, which is $15. So we're like, just go sell it to everybody. They're great stocking stuffers. And if we set the kids on the task, and at some point I was like freaking out because we sent everything home, all these flyers, and I'm like, well, how are we going to keep track of the flyers? And we got to get them back, and they're going to charge us. No, they don't. Papa's is amazing. And they just said, just return what you don't sell. We're going to recycle them, and you just keep all the money. So thanks,
They are.
Papa's. I went last night to return the other ones and just met with the manager and thanked them profusely. They also said, in addition to all of that, that we will again get the like free coupons for the kids' personal pizzas for Jogathon. And I was unaware that they give 5 pizzas to each school in the area for free every month.
Every month.
3 months.
What are we doing around here?
They are an amazing,
Wow.
amazing.
I'm about to like make a Papa's flyer and just like put it out on the thing. So,
They
there you
do
have it.
support the community.
How do we, so do we have a plan to get those pizzas?
Yeah, well,
And what not?
right?
What time do we show up?
And what kind? They make the best taco pizza.
one of our challenges in the last couple of years has been the cafeteria. You've probably heard of like war stories about the cafeteria. And the kids have done better this year. They did better last year. They're doing better this year. But finally the lunch duty folks were like, it's enough. It's got to stop. And so
What are they? They're just not.
like noise and throwing food and then just like being up at each other's grill and like leaning into other people's food and throwing food on the floor and just and then and my favorite is when you have your lunchbox and it's all zipped up mostly and then you do one of these and then you flick it into the basket but then it doesn't work and then it all falls. Milk cartons are like that too.
I'm just gonna say sorry because I know my kids are.
All your kids. And so
I know they're contributors. They're not the only ones I know, but I know they're contributing.
well, so
Is
the
that how you do it at home?
we've tried some things to try to teach them these routines about like turning down the lights means turning down your volume, all this stuff, and they were just blowing us off. And so finally we were like,
We're serious.
what I mean is with the 4th grade won a pizza party for being the least rude and destructive. And then we got their attention. So now every month, a class, our table can earn a pizza party. And we asked Papa's if we could just have a free pizza, but they didn't tell us like it was every month. So we were kind of like trying to figure out we had a parent come to Mr. Day's room and like make pizza with him instead of buying them. But now No, we won't do that again.
My grandson's 10, and they were here, and he says, Grandma, do you need any help in the kitchen? And I said, well, why don't you set the table? He thought that was the most important job in the world. So what if the kids made placemats? I don't know how you would just, but if they, because he folded the mat, how,
Like Fancy Friday or something.
and then the second time he rolled the silverware in it, like at some restaurant. And it's just something that if they take it serious, if they made a placemat that they could take down to lunch or something.
Yeah. I think the littles are doing, so the kinders are stars. They are the picture of perfection at doing all of that. First grade's okay.
When
But-
they start being naughty.
I don't know, man. It's not great. I stopped going. So
Kinders the last couple of years were man eaters, so I did it. Yeah, the kinders in there look like they're just like little rabbits. They're very, very,
all right.
quiet.
You might get through. The other thing that really helped this year actually was we split the recesses. K1, 2, and we were 3, 4, 5. And it was really the 3, 4, 5 who were the most, last year's 2, 3, 4, who were really rambunctious. And so
That's
we
a
were
nice
like,
word.
what if we try something and we have them do recess first and then come in and eat? And then the other little kids who were like, oh, it's fine. And I'm going to eat my food and put my stuff away and go out to the recess. And it works great.
Because they get all their wiggliness out.
They're not rushing to get to lunch or get to recess. and
Exactly,
skipping
because that was the
lunch.
other thing is that they would like fake eat or whatever and just dump all
get
their
to the
food
stuff.
to get out, and
Yeah.
then you have like a group of kids who have low blood sugar
Yeah.
for the rest of the afternoon, starving. I need more snacks. I can't. Yeah, I say you throw your whole lunch away. So if that's been working really well, I don't know how they got on this topic, but that's that. Yeah, last month, all that happened.
Can I ask a question about enrollment? That'd be too far along. What's working to get the recruiting? Was that your postcards? Was it chance? Do we know?
Chance.
Chance. Okay.
Yeah, I heard a couple of families kind of mention that we are a low-cost Ashbrook alternative.
Wow.
Own it.
I'll take it.
With
And
very good test scores.
fine. And today, Dana was giving a tour to a prospective family for incoming next year. And I was sort of eavesdropping, and what I heard was, wow, and your test scores are really great. And I was like, all right, I've only told every other person 12 times. So good, the word's out. I also got, by the way, significant stink eye at the principal's meeting this week. So
Because of your test scores?
I don't know, but
Yeah.
maybe I just had something in my teeth.
That's great.
Do you know, so Ashbrook they're a little on the pricey side. Is their enrollment full, or do we have enough of a relationship with them to be like, send us your overflow?
I know a few people over there.
If we're the low cost Ashbrook alternative, like send us your cast offs.
We actually did, I do know them all very well over there. And they're like a vice principal. I think they don't call it principal, they call it head of school or something. But Rachel Seckler is fantastic. And when I approached her last year and said, look, I know you have full classrooms and people are still coming to see you. Would you be comfortable recommending us you could come out and see the place and give you a flyer? And she was like, I am already doing that. So yes, absolutely. She's like, and vice versa. And we kind of came to an agreement in this area because I also know the principal at Adams and the Philomath Elementary. And so like, there's a right place for everybody in this neighborhood. And there's so many options. And that's actually, it's the beautiful thing. It's what makes kinder registration frustrating. But we know people at Montessori, we know all the people in the hood. And I think we just create niches for ourselves, and we try to get families to the right spot, because honestly, being in the wrong school is not what anybody wants.
Especially when there's so many choices. Not like you just go to your neighborhood school.
So, 2 kids.
Well, you mentioned earlier that the BLM grant that's going to be is that going to be submitted next month?
It is due the end of February. Right now, we are waiting on an approval for Tanya's account to grants.gov, and once she's approved, then we can submit. So it's written, it's ready to go. It's again a tech problem, but it's a new one, so we got it. We started early enough that I think we'll get it.
And how much again?
Well, I'm asking for 150,000. Good. And we'll see what they give us. It's over, I think, 2 years, 2 or 3 years. By the way, craft day and read along day were fantastic. It was great to see all the kids crafting. It was amazing because there were 0 incident reports on craft day. All the kids, well, we did it in shifts, again, like K1, 2, and 3, 4, 5. But the kids all came in and it was quiet and they were focused and they were respectful. We had tons of volunteers that made it amazing. And Dana coordinated the entire thing.
Who?
Dana. And the teachers even came in and were like, you don't need me here. And she's like, no, we've got it handled. And then they hung out anyway because it was fun. And so it was like a little bonus. Everything. They had like buttons, they had that like actual cedar swag, and they had Play-Doh, like homemade Play-Doh, and some made cards and some made
So they had a
just
real variety.
so many things. Yeah, and Karen was in there too, helping out. And of course, she did her ceramics project, which always turns out amazing.
Those ceramics were really high quality.
He made a ramen bowl, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
The
They were
whole,
really good.
no, he made something else. Nora made that. Anyway, yeah, they were like,
Really?
wow, okay.
You should see her in action on glazing day. It is, as an educator, terrifying. And I walk in and the kids are just fine. And she's beautiful and she does her magic and it all works out. I would never attempt that. But it's great. And then whenever it's glaze day, we're all like, oh, it's glaze day. And then we all kind of run in there and when kinders are glazing things. And it's amazing. It's part of the magic of this place. All right, what are we doing this month? Just getting back in the groove has been extra this week. Auction is in full swing. Well, not full swing. The preparation for the auction is in full swing. We're getting great donations. We need a lot more. Everybody's going to be asked to canvas any business or creative friend they have. We need little things and big things. There's going to be art from the kids. There's going to be experiences, like you can bid on being principal for the day with real responsibilities and maybe
You want me to pay money
a
for your job?
walkie-talkie. I do on many levels. And then
And a pizza for lunch.
and a pizza for they can order the pizza. That'll be good. And then I've got the teachers kind of thinking on ideas that they can do something similar. Like I think Jill is trying to organize like a yoga mindfulness class, and maybe Faye is going to do like a nature walk or something. One of the teachers is thinking about like bowling with a teacher or something like that. These are all really fun things. I know. I think one of the other teachers, I was kind of encouraging them to do something that like one family could bid on something for the whole class too. And I think Ms. Novak's taking me up on that. She's got a really great idea for an experience that they can do as a team if someone will just bid on it.
Auction off coming out and give lamb shots. That'd be fun.
Lester, nobody wants to give lamb shots.
Well, there's
Tequila shots.
docking and
Up to you.
castration and
Or
other
they could
things.
come to share 'em.
I'm sure, yeah, we could do tagging. Yeah, that'd be good.
I mean, just play
All
with
kinds
it.
of farm.
playing
all
with
kinds
it,
of
I
farm
was
When the
we could do.
kids ride them, but
Mutton,
mutton busting.
busting, yeah.
That would be fun. Give them a helmet and do mutton busting? Okay, put it down.
Is that like goat rodeo? What is that?
Basically, you
Yeah.
throw a kid on the back of a sheep and let the sheep run.
It's darling, because most of them are riding side, but they're damned if they're gonna let go, and so they're just. You've never seen that?
No, I have not.
Oh,
But I have a really good picture in my mind right now.
yeah, it's darling.
All right. There are a couple things I didn't get done last month, so I just tacked them on. And I didn't do any pictures, but did you guys see my video? I decided to jazz it up in the last newsletter.
Oh, I did. No, it was very nice.
It was very jerky.
I wasn't about to
Great
ask the
news.
teachers
Nice
to
newsletter.
write me blurbs at the end of December, so that was enough. All right, that's me, and
Very good.
oh, I meant to not. The budget committee, what I was hoping to do today was just to talk about like when we're gonna meet, like maybe decide dates and times. And then to just refresh everybody's memory on what the budget committee is going to be doing and like when. So the when I emailed Jackie and Patrick some dates. Oh, I've also enlisted Tom's help to be on the committee so that we get some staff representation.
I need to stay.
I asked about January 16th or the 23rd. No, it sounds like you're busy on the 23rd. Okay. The 16th is the Corvallis School District Board presentation. So I will be here late anyway, so that would be okay.
The 16th,
16th is a presentation.
I
Boy,
can't do the 23rd.
I thought you said you were already double booked or something.
Mhm.
Patrick, are you able to do the 16th?
What time?
Our options are between 10:30 and 11:30, which is Tom's prep, or sometime between 3 and 5. That could either be 3 to 4 or 4 to 5.
So Thursday between 10:30 and 11:30, you said? So I would be virtual, but I can go ahead and do either of those days in that slot.
Sarah, do you think that would work for you?
Mhm.
And
So
then
the 16th, 10:30.
6 to 10:30. Great. And then do we want to also look at scheduling like a few weeks after that? Like maybe just the regular month after? Okay. Just like to get things scheduled.
Maybe February 6th.
Um, that's our board meeting night.
Sure.
I thought,
We could do it before.
I think the,
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the
it
13th
goes to
already.
next week, I think.
The 6th is PTO. But the board is 13th. If you guys were into meeting before the board meeting, we could do that. Or is it better to do it in the day?
It would be better if it's Thursdays, it would be better for me to do it during the day. I'm solo parent from bus pickup until I start driving here.
Got you. Okay, so Karen, what does the 6th or the 13th look like for you?
The 6th,
February 6th or 13th?
and those are Thursdays.
Mhm.
I think that would work.
Would that 10:30 time be okay?
Sure.
All right, and I'll loop back with Jackie because she wanted to be included as well.
The 6th or 13th.
Did you say 13 or 6?
6.
6. And then same for March. Maybe the 6th again. And I'll send an email, an invite, so we can keep things straight. But I think our goal, is, and please correct me, I think our goal is to look at what, like our actuals from this year or maybe the year before, and start to craft that framework of the budget, look at the wish list for next year, and just start kind of hammering through all of it.
That's worked with me.
I think it'd be great to have that meeting on the 6th of March, because if we could have a goal of having something to present by the 13th, that would be kind of magical.
Mhm.
And that would give us plenty of time if something needs to be changed or if something happens or whatever. We could still do it in April if we had to, but that would meet our goal of trying to have something before spring break.
Did we decide if you have to have an approved budget before you can start doing MOUs?
Before you what?
Before you can start issuing MOUs. That is preferred, strongly preferred by Tanya.
And if we can always, and in fact, she told me, you know, the board had said you wanted to know what ones we went over and all that. And she says, no, I don't have time to do that.
The update, she was like, no.
No. And so she said, January is usually a time that you really look at it carefully and think, okay, we're way on this and not this, and we can make changes. So the board, I mean, you're not supposed to technically leave school until you have a budget, you know, approved. Doesn't mean it doesn't get changed because of ANDW. But, and it's, you usually never know what that is.
Yeah.
In June, they play those games.
So just spitballing. Really experienced teacher who has near the top of the pay scale versus brand new year one teacher. What is the difference in that?
What are the what?
can show
Difference in
you.
pay?
Yeah,
One
like
and a-
spitballing.
1.5 to 2 ADMWs.
It's
That's
actually,
the
we have it on our
amount
webpage. It's
per kid.
public.
I
I can just show you.
It's way.
These don't have names, they're just grades.
Oh, no, I just, it's saying we get about $11,000
Right.
per kid.
Right.
So the difference,
10, 15.
So, there's two factors. Bachelor's, you can get a teaching license with bachelor's, and starting salary is 39-ish. You can also have your master's, and get your license that way, or you can convert somewhere along the line. So right now we have a span from 39,320 to 67,700.
so
So is that what you're asking?
yes. You said, what's the high? You said 65, something like that?
67,700.
Okay, so
On bachelor.
we've got a spread of $28,000 between like low end and high end.
Almost all, well,
Well, but so I'm
Did
just wondering, like, to my point, like the point I'm trying to make, like,
Mhm.
should we not issue MOUs before we do a budget? Because would we not be able to forecast a budget better, or at least give you the ability to issue MOUs prior to the budget being finalized? Because it's going to drastically change if depending on who comes in and like at what pay scale. Like I hear what you're saying, like Tanya prefers it. I also, from an accuracy standpoint, I don't see the logic.
We're not going to be super duper perfectly accurate. I mean, there is, if we lose somebody, we put a placeholder in of mid, whatever the mid scale is. And maybe you gain a little money and maybe you lose a little money, and that's,
you either get to gain experience or gain a little money. Right?
Yeah, that's been true the last 2 years. So it's just a kind of a crapshoot, and
You just put a placeholder.
you spend a little time working on your employee retention so that not everybody leaves, and you do have that a little bit more predictability. But
Which would you prefer? Do you like us having to go and like vote on a finalized budget before you're able to go and issue MOUs to the faculty, or not?
I do. And I think that there's enough information for us to have a pretty good stab at it.
Partly too, when you're doing the budget, you have to make a decision. You kind of play with the bottom line. Do we have money for a raise, a cost of living raise? Everybody except the people at the very top would get a step, and you don't have a control. You can freeze it. It's been frozen at Corvallis many times, but it's rare. So look at it and say, well, if we gave them a 3% raise, we're going to be over this much, or we can afford it, so maybe only a 2% raise this year. So that's another thing that you're looking at.
There are a lot of variables, and we'll
Lots
have the
of-
ability to go in and just like play with a bunch of scenarios too. And I think that's our time best spent, is just looking at what ifs in those meetings. And that's what I did last year, but mostly alone. And so you didn't see the process. And so, and it actually took me much longer than I expected it to. I was hoping to have it to you guys sooner. But I was back and forth and back and forth and back and forth 1,000 different times and ways and combinations. And yeah, just trying to make it work as well as possible, which is all we can do.
We have 14 steps. Look, Corvallis is paying high right now.
Yeah. Karen's looking up Corvallis' pay scale. Don't do it.
That is shocking.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it for a while.
Yep. It's high. All right, well, that is good. I feel like we have a good plan there. Does anybody else want to say anything else about budget committee? Schedule and deliverables?
Jamie, Jessica, anything?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
Nope, I'm good. I just love to get Tanya's emails again. That would be lovely. Thank you.
We will
I
definitely
wasn't
look
sure
at
if she was back or not, so I kind of let it go. Sounds like she's doing okay.
they're getting back on schedule, back on track.
Okay, so when we got new policies last month, before the holiday, we forgot to rescind, I forgot to ask us to rescind the old policies. So we got the new policies. So now we got 2 policies in operation, which hasn't been too
This is
big of a
hard work.
deal because, we were mostly just eating pie and
I move that we rescind the old policies.
I'll second that. Yeah.
A little typo.
I see 5s online.
Okay, carried. All 5s, Patrick, thank you. Okay, so now we got, and they're on the website now, and
They're in like a chunk, a couple of chunks. And so OSBA is like trying to unchunk them, and then they'll be more click-throughable for us. And
we have our test scores on that website.
you better believe they're everywhere.
Good time. Good.
Did you see?
Pop-ups coming, I'm going to pay a water bill.
Did you guys see? I
And then
added
there'll be
another vote.
ads.
A request for another vote there. I emailed you guys with some details, but sort of at last minute. We do have a candidate for the temporary para to help with our situation, and we're feeling pretty strongly about the candidate. Before I make an offer, I thought since it will total more than $5,000, which is my ceiling for unchecked spending, I should ask if I have the board's permission to add that position to our roll call.
It's full-time, is it?
It's a 0.65,
0.6?
so 6.5 hours a day. And I mapped it out. It'll be somewhere between 5,500 and 6,000, depending on the length of time that they're required.
Okay.
And I can't really go into too much more detail because
No.
of the public
Yeah.
forum, but check your emails.
Okay.
Is it, 6.5 hours a day?
Yes.
Is that the amount of time they're?
Yes, that is student contact hours. So that is the minute the kids walk in the door to the minute the kids leave.
Cool.
How long are you planning on offering the?
It's currently through end of February. If there is going to be a shift, well, we should know by then. Possible, but I haven't asked yet. I think no, probably because they're not currently on their roster.
Jamie, Jessica, any questions there?
I mean, just to be very clear, how much is this going to make us over budget every month?
It's a total and anticipated total between January, February, and I think I put a first week of March in there. Anticipated $5,500
Total, not per month.
total.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry, you actually like I didn't hear-
5,500.
call it 25 to 3,000 a month for 2 months.
Okay.
Rounding somewhere.
So through end of February or through the first week of March.
First week of March.
And we have no guarantee from Corvallis School District for anything.
I mean, if we're going to go and spend it, we should anticipate them not paying us back for it because
Yeah.
If they can say no, they will. They've got their own budget shortfalls they're dealing with.
I think for staff stress and kids in the class, I think we need this. So I'm gonna, unless there's further discussion of it, it's all right. I'd like to make a motion that we approve. Go ahead.
Do they hold proper certification or training to handle the situation that they're facing?
I believe so. There is like a supplemental training that I would like to have them do pretty quickly. That just wasn't part of their complement of trainings, but they have ample experience in this area. And we were actually pretty impressed.
Okay.
Specifically, it's the CPS training. So they are super well versed.
Classified pay?
They need the CPS training or they have it?
They need it.
Okay.
How long is that going to take? The
Unclear.
CPS training.
They seem to like it was like, oh, that sounds familiar, and I'm sure I've seen it, but like it didn't feel like super familiar, like not super expert at it. And in this position, I really want them to be.
How soon would they even start?
That I don't know yet.
Okay.
Any other comments?
I move that we approve the hire.
Temporary para hire. I'll second that.
I know we're all making the same face, but
I'm going with the 4.
Me
Those
too.
are before.
4.
Karen, what were you?
what was your?
Oh,
who were you
five.
by?
So Jamie and Jessica, you're both for?
Yeah.
Thank you. I will keep you in the loop when I get more of those details.
Okay.
And then I put this on here. I was talking to Jamie and Lester about it the other day. So at one point, the board approved 2 separate diversity, equity, and inclusion committees in the not so distant past. I think it was maybe it was after that training.
Yeah.
This summer.
Mhm.
And the committee that I formed as an executive director committee, we're calling ourselves Jedi Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. We've been meeting monthly with several of the staff and getting ourselves integrated as much as we can into the community at large. The board committee EIE has some content on our website, but I don't think they ever got off the ground in terms of meeting. So the question was, could we discuss combining them in an executive director committee that addresses the needs of our underserved population at Muddy Creek?
Mhm.
I believe that people have been reached out on the EIE and have been invited to include in the executive director committee. So
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. It's when, I mean, I don't know what the big difference would be. Right,
Exactly.
it seems a lot of redundant.
It felt that way to me, but things were different. We had different board members, and now I wonder just if it is more helpful or more confusing to have 2 similarly visioned committees. The Jedi committee is already up and running, and Jamie said she'd love to join us, and you could reach out to Kathy hasn't responded, but I would be happy to invite her and Derek as well.
Yeah. So I'm on board with making one committee, and I like to sit on it as a board member and be a part of the discussions and what that looks like.
Thank
The
you.
other board members are okay with it.
thank you, Jamie. So should we vote to disband the EIE committee? Is it best practice? Or?
I would say yes. I move to disband the EIE committee and have the Jedi committee collaborate with board along with staff and teachers and ED.
Jamie, do you mind condensing that a little bit for my typing?
Collapse.
I move to disband the EIE committee and pursue the Jedi committee
Justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion.
Oh no, it's Jedi.
or justice. Yeah, I don't know how to say it. I'm not a very fancy English writer. Sorry.
You're doing fine.
And Jamie, are you moving that we pursue the Jedi committee as an executive director committee, or like my question for you is, are you cool with Jedi remaining an ED committee?
Yes, absolutely.
Me too.
As long as board member or a board member gets to collaborate with the ED.
You mean you?
I'm
Jedi on the basic
enthusiastically inviting you, Jamie.
Meaning me, yes. Jamie, yes.
Okay. It has so been moved.
I'll second it.
5.
Yay!
5.
Everybody fives?
We're all 5.
I believe that was our agenda.
Great. Anybody have anything last minute? I should have the dates for the Japanese exchange soon. So I hope to start.
Cool. August again?
I think so, yeah. Similar time. Okay,
We're very efficient.
I like this.
Are we,
8:09.
have we been disbanded?
thanks for coming, everybody. Let's call it
And
8:09.
somebody will get
Yes, do you have that it's in the file somewhere?
I was gonna
Hey,
say
I
that.
have a question. I don't know who this new board member might be, so can you introduce yourself to me? Sorry.
Yeah, can you see, I don't know if you can see me or not. I'm Alex Goldner. I'm a dad of 2 students here at Muddy Creek, Nico Senzakai in 2nd and 4th grade.
Cool. Awesome.
You only see my legs?
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes. Okay, hi.
Hi, thank you. I just didn't
Hi.
see you and I wasn't present the last meeting, so.
Do you want more
Awesome.
background or, I don't know.
Oh,
You
well,
can
I
take
guess
my
Have
turn.
an opportunity to present your application,
Oh, I'll give,
Yeah.
yeah.
you do,
I don't
yeah.
wanna, okay.
We'll be
So, yeah.
on.
but you've
Wait,
probably
well,
seen each other around, so.
Mhm. I'll,
Small school.
yeah, I'll fill out the application and then you guys can grill me.
That
on
sounds
my
like a
qualifications.
plan. That's how we get people.
Yeah, exactly.
There it is.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, all right.
All right, and I'm sending Alex the thing.
So is that all
Right.
being recorded?
It's
Thank you.
all
We have no
recorded.
excuses on the Japanese exchange student this
Oh
year.
no, I'm being recorded. See you later. How you doing? Okay? Bye.